So this is the story of the super hot smoke show TCU girl. So this story is one of my pride and joy stories. So everybody has one or two moments in their life where the stars just happened to line up, the planets were in the right alignment, and you were the man, all right? You were the guy, you were the person of the hour or whatever, right? It's hands down, one of my coolest moments of my life. Now, here's what happened. So this was 2019, I believe, 2019. I was a gym owner. I owned a gym. I was preparing for a bodybuilding show, so I was in really good shape. And I was about, 33 years old or something like that. And I went to Dallas with some friends. Well, I had also been invited to go to a TCU game in Fort Worth with another friend who just happened to be there at the same time. So I told this group of friends, hey, I'm going to go to the TCU game because so-and-so invited me and has a ticket for me. And so they're like, that's cool, we'll go to the mall, you go to the TCU game, and we'll meet back up afterwards. So we go to the TCU game, beautiful day. I forget who they were playing, but I'd never been to the TCU stadium. It was a really cool stadium. The Horned Frogs. So I'm sitting right behind the person who invited me, and he's with another guy. And we're sitting up in the stands. And all of a sudden, to our left, we're up pretty high up, to our left, these two girls, one of them absolutely smoke show stunning brunette. They're both decked out in TCU gear. Not quite sure if they're college students or maybe a little older, maybe grad students. So she's wearing these really short, cut off like Daisy Duke jean shorts. She's wearing a TCU tank top, brunette hair, little bit of makeup, but not a ton. I think she had like a choker necklace on, flip-flops, but I mean, I'm talking beautiful smoke show to the point where everybody in the stands, all the guys are staring at this woman. Everyone knew what was going on, like holy smokes. So I'm sitting on the edge where the stairs come up. I'm on the very edge seat and my two buddies are in front of me. And these girls start walking up and the super hot one happens to be closest to the edge of my seat, So they start walking up and we make eye contact, which every guy is staring at her. And I said, hey, how you doing? And she goes, hey, how are you? And I was like, hey, that's cool, whatever. And so they walk up and they sit down. And so I'm sitting there and I whispered to my buddy, I'm like, God. And he's like, I know. And so I think I looked back like once and we made eye contact and she smiled. And I was like, there's no way, I mean, how many other guys is she smiling at? And then I'm sitting there, and I remember at the time I used to dip snuff. So I had a big old dip of snuff in, unfortunately. And all of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn with my big old dip of snuff, and it's that smoke show girl right in front of me, kneeling down, and she goes, hey. And I go, hey. And she goes, how are you? And I said, I'm good. She goes, my name is so-and-so. And I go, hey, I'm Matt. How are you? And she goes, I just thought you were really handsome. And I go, what? And I like put my hand over my mouth because I was embarrassed at that point that I had the snuff in. And I said, just give me a second. And I ran down, I threw it out, I washed my mouth out real quick, and I came back up and she was sitting in my spot. So I sat next to her and we started talking, and my buddy and his friend are like looking back at me like, what is going on here? There's no way that this is happening. And I'm like, oh man, don't blow this. This is incredible. So we're sitting there and we're talking and man, we're hitting it off. And I mean, that area, all the guys are like watching to see what's going on. And she's like, yeah, so my friend's up there, my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. We came to the game. We both went to TCU. We graduated a couple years ago. I live in an apartment around the corner. We come to all the games. So I'm kind of talking to her, explaining why I'm in town. And she's like, come meet my friend. So we walk up the stairs and I sit next to her and her friend. And so we're sitting there. And of course, my buddy, every once in a while, he's turning around to see what the situation is. And I tell you, it's just one of those very rare experiences. So we hit it off to the point where within about 30 minutes, I had my arm around her and hand on her leg, and like we're flirting, and my buddy's looking back. Every time he looks back, it's progressing a little more to the point where the final time he looked back, she was sitting on my lap, and we were just laughing. And later on, he said, I don't know what kind of wizardry, black magic you were pulling. I said, man, I don't know. It's one of those rare situations. Anyway, we ended up, after the game, she invited me to her place, her apartment. So I walked her. I called my friends. I said, don't worry about picking me up. You know, I met somebody. I'll meet up with y'all later. So we ended up walking to her apartment. Oh, man. Now this is where the story goes off into like an absolute dream fantasy. But if you want to hear the rest, you're going to have to wait. Later.